11th Parliament's duty to chart Ghana's destiny for next 5 years. President Granger at historic opening. Anna Catherine Islamic Council honors President and Prime Minister. President urges group to continue working against social ills. Carter Center committed to staying engaged with Ghana government. And President welcomes UK's support for Ghana's developmental effort at celebration to mark Queen's 89th birthday. I'm your host, Janelle Carter, with this week's edition of the President's Diary, where we give you an insight into the head of state's activities for the period June 6 to 12, 2015. The Anna Catherine Islamic Complex, ACIC, recently honored the head of state, David Granger, Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo, and other members of the cabinet on their ascension to office with a grand Thanksgiving service and dinner. The event also served as a thanksgiving for the entity's award of the Golden Arrow of Achievement, which was announced on May 26. Being an honorary member of the ACIC, the head of state said he was privileged to be back at the complex addressing his fellow brothers and sisters, not just as a brother, but as their president.
And I can think of no organization whose efforts, whose endeavors, whose energies have been so directed to overcoming crime, overcoming ignorance, overcoming disease, and overcoming poverty as the Anna Catherine Islamic Complex.
Citing the ACIC as an institution that has been working towards ridding society of social ills, the president urged the complex to continue in the same vein. Speaking specifically to the complex being bestowed with the national award, President Granger said the honor was rightly earned and well-deserved. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo and several other members of the cabinet were presented with awards. An award was also presented to executive member of the ACIC, Mr. Fazil Aziz, for his outstanding contribution to the complex. Aziz is currently recovering from an injury, and his son Gibran made a heartfelt speech and accepted the award. The Mexican government, through its ambassador to Guyana, His Excellency Ivan Medel, has assured that the two countries' long-standing relations will continue as efforts will be made to further strengthen ties. The Mexican ambassador paid a courtesy call on President David Granger at the Ministry of the Presidency, Shiv Chandrapal Drive. According to Ambassador Medel, Ghana and Mexico have shared past experiences in development cooperation, and this will continue under the new administration.
We also spoke about future initiatives. There is a large potential for new initiatives, and we hope that we can work not only bilaterally, but also in such forums as CARICOM.
Other areas of cooperation between Ghana and Mexico include agriculture, exploring greater use of coconuts, and training. Mexico provides Guyanese with scholarships in several areas, two of which are engineering and health. Ambassador Medel, who was accredited in April of this year, also offered his congratulations to the head of state and his new cabinet. A truly historic event indeed it was, as the country's 8th executive president, David Granger, declared the 11th Parliament open, reiterating the call for social cohesion and reminding the new parliamentarians of their duty to serve. The head of state made a grand entrance amidst cheers from a crowd which gathered outside of the parliament buildings. And after inspecting the guard of honor, the president made his way into the chambers of the National Assembly. Prior to his arrival, the ceremonial swearing-in of the members of parliament was done, after which President Granger offered his congratulations.
Those of us who were elected have work to do. We have a responsibility to represent the people. We have an obligation to speak for them. We have a duty to serve their interests. They have put their trust in us. That is why we are here.
The president also outlined his administration's plan for taking the country forward while bridging the gaps and ensuring good governance.
Guyanese today celebrate the opening of their 11th Parliament since the achievement of independence 49 years ago on the 26th of May 1966. This Parliament will have the honor of leading this country into its 50th anniversary of independence next year. This Parliament will have the duty of charting the destiny of this great nation for the next 5 years until 2020. Mr. Speaker, your government recognizes today that our foreparents came from 4 continents. We, their heirs and successors, resolve to work together to pursue the ideal of making Guyana one nation. We must, in so doing, combine our efforts, concentrate our energy, and endeavor to defeat the real enemies of our people: crime, disease, ignorance, and poverty.
Speaking to the issue of poverty, which the president said can be eliminated through good governance, he explained that this fight cannot be won through charitable handouts. Measures to support social cohesion and protect susceptible groups will be advanced, the president said, as the new administration will work towards healing the rift among social groups in the country. Meanwhile, the first sitting of the 11th Parliament will be held on June 25th. Following a meeting with President David Granger, Field Office Director of the Carter Center, Jason Calder, said the center is looking forward to continued efforts with the administration in some critical areas. Calder paid a visit to the head of state at the Ministry of the Presidency, where discussions were held on the center's preliminary statement on the recently concluded May 11 general and regional elections. According to Calder, during the meeting, which he described as positive, the president reflected on the electoral process and outlined his hopes going forward for Guyanese.
We also had an opportunity to talk about some of the areas where the Carter Center may be interested in doing some continuing work in Guyana, including on electoral reform, social cohesion and reconciliation, and questions of inclusive governance. So it was a very positive meeting, and we're looking forward to staying engaged.
The Carter Center was among several international observer missions that participated in the May 11 general and regional elections. Like the other observers, the Carter Center is of the belief that the May 11 general and regional elections were free and fair. On the birth anniversary of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, President David Granger offered congratulations on behalf of the government and people of Guyana at a reception to mark the occasion. The occasion was celebrated at the residence of the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Greg Quinn. In his brief remarks, President Granger stated that his administration stands ready to work with its international partners.
The government and people of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana extend warm congratulations to Her Majesty and the government and people of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland on the occasion of the Queen's 89th birthday. The government of Guyana is ready to work with its international partners for the development of all Guyanese in pursuit of common goals.
President Granger pointed out that the two countries have developed fruitful cooperation at the bilateral, regional, and multilateral levels, including through the successful biannual United Kingdom-Caribbean Forum and the Commonwealth.
Let me also take this opportunity to commend the government's work on reconciliation and national unity. And I would like to urge everyone to work for this common goal. As we move towards the 50th anniversary of independence, I am sure those who worked so tirelessly and so passionately for that independence would join me in seeking that unity.
The Guyanese head of state also thanked the United Kingdom for its support for this country's development efforts, and more recently for its advocacy of good governance and respect for the rule of law. President Granger also welcomed the United Kingdom's support for Guyana's position on the claims being generated by the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela over previously settled borders.
Guyana-Venezuela relations since independence in 1966 have been affected by intermittent and aggressive claims by Venezuela on Guyana's territory. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, on the 27th of May 2015, issued Decree number 1787 extending Venezuela's claim to Guyana's waters, which include the exploration site of ExxonMobil. It has become increasingly clear that Venezuela intends to put Guyana under pressure and stymie its development by its unfriendly actions.
With the aim of ensuring that young people attain higher educational standards, the government plans to introduce measures to address school dropout and to curb the rate at which primary school children are failing to qualify into secondary schools. The president spoke of his administration's plan for education reform as he addressed the opening of the 11th Parliament on June 10th last.
We aim at producing citizens of quality who will be happy to remain here at home to build our great country. We shall expand opportunities to improve communications and human learning and to drive our economy forward at a faster rate. We shall improve information, communications, and education infrastructure in the hinterland and coastal areas.
President Granger said the reform of the public education system is part of a larger government thrust to craft a long-term national economic strategy that will ensure economic stability and social security, raise the productive potential of the economy, and improve the quality of life for all. With a higher educational standard, the president said school leavers can look forward to finding satisfactory jobs after successfully completing studies at learning institutions. As part of the new administration's strategy to ensure a well-governed Guyana, President David Granger has outlined plans that will soon engender institutional, political, and financial autonomy for several aspects of governance. The head of state said that his administration would reaffirm the integrity and autonomy of the National Assembly so as to ensure its financial independence. In the past, the head of state said the National Assembly was more of a bane instead of being a boom to democracy. In addition, the president said his government will also bring forward legislation to ensure strong and lasting constitutional reforms and to guarantee good governance.
We feel that the vibrant labor movement is essential for social security, for a fairer society, for effective governance, and for national development. We aim at resolving social conflict, reducing poverty, improving productivity, strengthening democracy, and enhancing the people's quality of life. We shall implement measures to instate inclusionary democracy and social cohesion in every municipality, in every neighborhood, in every region, and right here in the National Assembly.
Some of these legislation will include the Constitution Amendment Bill to amend the Constitution of Guyana and to add certain entities, such as the Service Commissions and the Guyana Elections Commission, that ought to enjoy financial autonomy as constitutional agencies. There will also be the establishment of an Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly Bill, which will ensure an independent Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly that would allow greater independence in the appointment of all staff of the Parliament Office. That's all in this week's diary for the period June 6, June 13, 2015. But before we go, these are some of the highlights. 11th Parliament's duty to chart Guyana's destiny for next 5 years, President Granger at historic opening. Anna Catherine Islamic Council honors President and Prime Minister. President urges group to continue working against social ills. Carter Center committed to staying engaged with Guyana government, and President welcomed UK's support for Guyana's developmental efforts at a celebration to mark Queen's 89th birthday. Do join us again next week when we will update you on the Head of State's activities. I'm Janelle Carter. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. But in the meantime, if you need more information, you can contact us via our email, ginagovgy@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, www.gina.gov.gy.